We got picks and bans ready for you for game 2. Will Luminosity go through and get 2 wins? Or can Vigilance pull out the split up against one of the top teams in North America? We know how badly Vigilant needed, so they choose to ban out that BaRRaCCuDDa to try and set themselves up.
This isn't just an important set for Vigilant. This is also a really important one for Luminosity.
That's
wanting
right.
to maintain that top-tier slot in North America means that they've got to close out these sets. And Vigilant, though, they certainly have the potential to bounce back after that game.
Yeah, you're right. Vigilant have a lot of strong players on their team. Maybe not top in talent every position, but we've seen what PainDeViande can do with these strong players that all follow those orders, those calls that he makes, and they're able to take games off the top teams. But you're right, Luminosity need this too. I mean, United are undefeated, so they got to stay up there. They got to keep going at the top.
Well, Luminosity have really got to show that they have what it takes to compete with United right now, and that they're also looking for that top slot. Vigilant, though, loving the strat already, taking away that Nemesis, not allowing Luminosity to go anywhere near it with Mask again. And
it feels like Mask is the focus for him. They also ban out Ratatoskr with their first ban, trying to limit his options in the jungle. So what did Luminosity do? Put BaRRaCCuDDa on Hou Yi. Let's get him on a hard carry that we know he can play well on, that he just got through playing well on, so they're going to make sure at least that BaRRaCCuDDa is in a good spot.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that Osiris going back into MandoWarrior. I don't think that Mando really misplayed on that Osiris at all. I think it was, again, just those unlucky early buff invades, gave Luminosity the initial lead, and then a couple of rotations and teamfights that didn't go the way of Vigilant. It just spelled disaster in the long run, but Baskin, again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's Raijin.
Got that Raijin. I think you're right, though. I don't think that Vigilant made any really big mistakes at all in that game. It was like 30 minutes in when that final team fight that breaks out that gives Luminosity the big lead, and they never relinquish it through that whole game. So I don't have a problem with them going back to the Osiris, going back to the Soul for the mid lane again, and just giving this another shot without having to worry about Nemesis on Mask.
It was a little bit of a 50-50 toss-up on that Gold Fury. I thought for a second that Pain had actually managed to re-secure it for Vigilant, but it was BaRRaCCuDDa. BaRRa finding that last hit, and then it just completely displaced everybody from Vigilant. I would like to see a little bit more initial aggression from Vigilant, but more controlled.
They played a little bit reactionary in that game, I think you say. That's something we see a lot sometimes when, like, our middle of the pack are up against the top end. They kind of do play a little bit more reactionary, but JeffHindla picking up the Fafnir, giving us something a little bit more aggressive than what he had last game, so he'll be able to do a good job with that Dragon. And then a Muzen Cab, who we've been seeing a lot of, picked by Vigilant.
And the Geb to top it all off, really just looking for, again, some more survivability. Hopefully this time, though, Pain able to watch that positioning a little bit more, not looking to get caught out as many times early on by Luminosity.
And we didn't talk about this yet, as now Jaws locked in. That's what we're talking about. But Luminosity banned Ganesh one more time away from PainDeViande and force him again onto another support. I'm not trying to say Pain is not capable of playing another support. We know he's a high-level player, but something that we know that he can excel on, they continue to strip it away from him.
And if that's the case, and if it works, then you might as well keep repeating it. That has been one of the leading factors for Vigilant in the games that they have won, is Pain on that Ganesh. He's just so strong at controlling, and even better with the objective calls on the Ganesh as well because of the Dharmic Pillars.
And you were saying that you wanted Vigilant to play a little bit more aggressive early. That's going to be harder now that Luminosity have Mask on that Naja in the jungle as MandoWarrior goes aggressive onto the Baskin. He takes a lot of early damage. It's going to be a lot harder for him to stick around now, especially with that Sands of Time. Not much regen there.
But still able to survive, and BaRRaCCuDDa actually returning a little bit of poke onto Akillathehun with that Ricochet. Aquarius and Mess, though, not looking to risk anything. Probably just going to be starting on their own speed buff, recognizing that 5-man gank attempt in the mid lane.
And you saw our cameraman pointing out, DayToRemeber came out here without any items. It looks like he bought, some potions, he's got his beads, but nothing else. He's just kind of chilling.
Sometimes it happens, and you just walk out of the base with a little bit short on the starter items. I'm going to say that that one was a moment of forgetting. Now he's going to be backing. He knows he has to go back to base. He needs that starter item. He's kind of ineffective without it. And no, it's actually going to be for the Warrior Tabi rush. Day going to be looking for that sustain off of his hives instead.
Now, is that something he could have potentially been doing on purpose? Because it is 1550, I believe, for the Warrior Tabi, so it's a little more than you start with. Do you think he just wanted to buy it all at once? Or maybe just something he didn't want to walk out with?
I'm still going to go with he probably forgot to buy his starter item and boots or Boombas, and now he's just looking for the rush off the Warrior Tabi. Or I could be entirely wrong, and this is just a full-on new strat from Day.
Well, DayToRemeber either way has those boots on him now, so he'll at least be one of the fastest guys on the map. He'll have that going for him as Aquarius and Mask have the pressure in this solo lane side, and Vigilant coming up and actually invading into the red buff of Luminosity. BaRRaCCuDDa's here, as is JeffHindla, and they actually were able to defend that buff, so it's on BaRRaCCuDDa, and DayToRemeber could be in trouble. Raijin comes crashing over the top, and BaRRaCCuDDa gets credit for it, so he'll be sent back to base right away.
Dave might have boots, but Luminosity's got crowd control, and that is what made all the difference. Luminosity, BaRRaCCuDDa even getting that first blood onto the enemy hunter. That is a huge kill bounty to secure.
Yeah, that's going to make life real rough for DayToRemeber. It already can be a little bit tough in the early game from Muzen Cab. Now, BaRRaCCuDDa on this Hou Yi, who clears well, has an advantage against him as they came over here to try and invade, did Vigilant, and looks like they weren't successful.
But either way, MandoWarrior actually, I believe, stripping... Oh, no, it was Aquarius able to pick up his own blue buff unless he had the counter invade. Day, though, those boots putting in a little bit of work. Ricochet taking out a huge chunk of PainDeViande's health, but at least both of them are still alive. And
we got the 2v2 over here in duo lane, so apparently at this point, this is old school now, where we got the support and the ADC hanging out.
I'm pretty sure that Vigilant just counter-engaged the invade from Luminosity. Aquarius and Mask actually taking away MandoWarrior's blue buff, so they just returned the favor to make sure that this time Mando could actually have a little bit of that mana regen cooldown reduction going on as well.
Just a little bit of trade over there, evening everything out. And MandoWarrior did have a hard time with that last game. I don't know if he saw a blue buff until really late in the game, and I know Grave was going without that speed buff for a while. But Luminosity, they're going to be the ones getting those fire elementals on the right-hand side again. So still the neutral camps are going in their favor.
And the same thing for the Oracles on the opposite side of the map. Luminosity having control of those as well means that so far the early game global farm is Luminosity's. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see Vigilant try and change that up as things progress.
Yeah, they're not going to want to let Luminosity just continue to build this lead up on them, especially when they've got that Muzen Cab on their team. They know that they've got a strong win condition between him and Akillathehun, so if they can hang with Luminosity, they definitely could put themselves in a similar position to last game where 30 minutes in, they're right there with them.
And BaRRa actually finding the kill onto Day with a little bit of help from JeffHindla. Seemed as though both ultimates there were expended. Either way, Day taking another spill so early on is just putting him even further behind BaRRa.
And that's DayToRemeber having a hard time in the 2v1 with PainDeViande here in mid lane, trying to help out Akillathehun and helping make sure that he's able to get his farm. BaRRaCCuDDa getting credit for both those kills, going straight into the Ninja Tabi. That's going to make life even harder for DayToRemeber, who still doesn't have that ult available.
Day, though, he is trying to rush the Devourer's gauntlets. He'll probably have it. I actually might not have it sooner than BaRRaCCuDDa just because he's fallen kind of far behind when it comes to his own farm, although his only advantage is that he didn't pick up a starter item or the Boomba, so that is at least, it's gold that he was able to pocket towards his boots and Devos.
It does mean he'll be lacking a little bit in the sustain that BaRRaCCuDDa is going to have an advantage on him in. Mass does come over, and I think he was actually able to steal away that speed buff too, so the invade successful for Luminosity, and it looks like they're going to walk away scot-free.
And again, though, Luminosity looking to try and take away MandoWarrior's blue buff. This is a running trend now for Luminosity. Mando, though, putting some pressure back onto Aquarius. He has the tether active on him, so that is going to be enough to keep Luminosity out for right now. Grave just trying to secure this blue buff, though.
Mask is here, though, getting the stun off on him, but the 3-man Cataclysm from PainDeViande was good as well. Aquarius does end up picking up Grave. Now it's a 3v2. The root out on the PainDeViande slows him down. He has to shield himself. Baskin even made the rotation so close to ticking over the damage to take down Pain, but he'll escape with his life as Akillathehun drops his damage, or his ultimate as well.
Less than 10 HP. It had to have been less than 10 HP that Pain was able to escape out of that one with. Either way, it does seem as though the blue buff was secured for MandoWarrior, so that's a plus, but it came at the cost of his jungler's life.
And we saw a little bit of a glimpse there of what BaRRaCCuDDa's been doing to DayToRemeber. DayToRemeber was forced back recently. He wasn't even able to go into tier 2 of those Devil Gloves. He just had to get that mana as Mask cleans up MandoWarrior on the other side of the map. Things are starting to move a little bit out of control for Vigilant now as Luminosity are up 4-0 and through about 3K or so gold as well. And 6 minutes in, that's pretty substantial.
This is a pretty similar goalie to what we saw last game from Luminosity, but what we didn't see last game from Luminosity was this kill count already, sitting with 4 kills on the board, but more importantly, just the overall farm in comparison. BaRRaCCuDDa hitting level 10, putting him about 3.5, 4 levels over Day. And as an Muzen Cab, sure, you might have the greatest boxing potential in the game, but not when you're 3 to 4 levels behind the enemy hunter. And
not when you can't match the sustain. I mean, BaRRaCCuDDa has just been able to hang around. I've seen on the map, DayToRemeber has to back. He keeps running out of mana. It's just difficult for him to stick around in comparison to what Bumbas are doing for BaRRaCCuDDa in the jungle. He's able to go back in and heal back up. And he even was further ahead on the Devil Gloves too. And now look at them trying to freeze the wave, not letting DayToRemeber come up to the farm.
And that's all that Jeff and BaRRa have to do. Grave actually trying to help assist, but he's level 6. He's just destroyed by that triple bounce.
Yeah, the ricochet from BaRRaCCuDDa deleting Grave. I don't even think he was able to get the shield off in time to stay alive, and now DayToRemeber not going to be able to get any farm unless further rotation from Vigilant comes over, and they can't do it because the pressure from Luminosity on the right side is just too great.
All I'm saying, if Grave, maybe he can like watch back the VOD, he might hear me say this now. Akillathehun does have a support group for players that have been triple bounced by Hou Yi. Feel free to hit him up on Twitter. Make sure you get in contact with him after that experience battle.
That's an ever-growing support group right now, too. These Hou Yi ricochets have been nuts. Baskin even trying to get a solo onto Akillathehun here into the mid lane with the pressure that he has. And once again, Luminosity invading the speed buff of Vigilant. JeffHindla in the back line, keeping Akillathehun away, and PainDeViande and Grave have to back up to try to assist. Two-man knockup come out from Aquarius. That sets up Baskin to drop in, and BaRRaCCuDDa was even able to rotate in with those stuns as well. Aquarius cleans up Grave and gets Akillathehun. Actually a double kill for Aquarius.
That was massive cleanup crew by Aquarius. Great ton in by Baskin off those Taiko drums. And Day, again, forced into the Purification Beach, just trying to run away from Luminosity. 5 members invading right now.
That's what happens when BaRRaCCuDDa has the pressure over DayToRemeber. He can force him under tower and then rotate into the back end of team fights, especially when they're that far into the jungle. He can come in underneath the tier 1 tower. DayToRemeber rotates in, gets his beads taken for free, and he might be in trouble here as Baskin hits him with all the shots, and yeah, DayToRemeber's gone. He's gone.
There's just no hope for survival, and again, the other side of the map now experiencing the same treatment as that solo lane side. Buffs just being stripped away, no farm anywhere on the map for Vigilant, and Pain, the most he can do is maybe look to contest this, but that triple bounce from Hou Yi is just making it impossible for Vigilant to respond.
DayToRemeber can take some solace in the fact that he's probably not worth that much as a kill anymore. I mean, he's behind, but missing out on all this farm, it's gonna hurt. Purple buff getting stripped away, and Luminosity, now we're seeing what happens when you give a top-end team a lead. They're playing it expertly. Now they're coming over towards this Gold Fury pit, giving that vision. BaRRaCCuDDa looking to back and finish out those Devil Gloves.
All BaRRaCCuDDa wants to do is wait for Pain to use that knockup so that way he can make sure he gets the last hit. Instead, Pain doing a great job securing that 1 Oracle, meaning that at least Luminosity won't have the vision there, but still, the issue is, even if you take away the gold disparity between these two teams, it's the XP. The highest member on Vigilant is Akillathehun, level 9. He's barely the same level as Jeff, as the support.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from that gold lead either. You're right, that's pretty out of control. Even Mask, who's the lowest, is ahead of PainDeViande, who's actually the highest for his team, at least in terms of gold farm. So things are looking rough for Vigilant, but I definitely don't want to say that there's not a way back in for them. It would likely require, though, some mistakes from Luminosity for them to not properly secure a Gold Fury and Vigilant be able to steal that away, or to find someone out of position with multiple members of Vigilant. But they got to get some farm on the DayToRemeber so he can help out. He's 4 levels behind BaRRaCCuDDa, and then they got to try and rely on Grave and Akillathehun.
The problem is relying on Luminosity to make mistakes that many times in a row to allow Vigilant to come back into this game. I just can't see it happening. This is all a learning experience for Vigilant right now in game number 2, just trying to learn how to deal with playing so far behind.
And they're going to have to learn how to deal with watching Luminosity take another Gold Fury. Sprint is popped. JeffHindla just a little bit off the mark with that hammer, so Akillathehun gets to escape, but the stun on the PainDeViande from Mask is good. The Cataclysm comes out to try and keep himself alive, but there's still 3 members of LG. They do clean him up. It takes him a little little while. Now Baskin up into the air, slamming down the damage onto Grave, but Grave helps get the return kill onto Baskin, who falls as well. And now DayToRemeber stunned out, and he has nowhere to go. Up into the air from Mask and bringing him right back down.
Ultimate not even necessary, but he's going to use it anyway for the style kill. And Akilla trying to get into that Disapparate form, barely making it in time. Still, he's not safe just yet. Mask going in for the kill, and with Aquarius being full health, more than capable of taking up that tower in the dive.
And MandoWarrior just trying to get something back, coming in against several members of Luminosity. He can at least force back Aquarius. JeffHindla, though, is here to try and stop him. Actually, several members of Luminosity backed, not worried about what MandoWarrior might be able to do. So even though Aquarius is low, he just has to back off. PainDeViande's here to at least keep him alive.
But Mando used everything to just try and have a chance at taking out Aquarius. Didn't make a difference at all, though. BaRRA actually not even having to use his Ricochet to stun out that Geb dash. It's just going to be Jeff with the hammer stun on point.
And catches him mid-dash, too, so certainly could have been some setup there. BaRRaCCuDDa just going to farm up this wave. They don't need to take these big fights anymore now that they're the ones who are out in front. Just don't want to give anything back. They're sitting up 12-1 in the kills, up about 6,000 gold, and we're still only 12 minutes into the game. And look, Taco, at that experience difference.
10,500 experience is just have fun with that one. I don't really see a way for Vigilant to have any sort of combat possibilities. Luminosity is just so unreasonably far ahead.
It's going to make things really difficult, especially for DayToRemeber over here in this dual lane. BaRRaCCuDDa just having a little bit of fun with it, dropping the Suns on top. I'm trying to see if Baskin can help him clean anything up. They didn't even get the gold for you in that last engagement. They ended up doing about a 1 for 3 in terms of just kills on that left-hand side. Now, though, looking like they could look to start it back up with Baskin and Mask all around there. Even BaRRaCCuDDa coming in to help out, too, and it looks like that is the call. Fafnir coerce helping him out. Baskin goes up into the Taiko drums. PainDeViande with the knock-up tries to steal it away, but unable to.
It was a solid attempt, but now it's probably going to cost him his life. BaRRaCCuDDa jumping in for the kill. It's going to be Mask, though, taking that secure away from his hunter, but he's not ready to be done just yet. Actually moving forward, catches Akillathehun before he can hit that Disapparate form.
Taking Akillathehun up into the air, and Baskin was there. Didn't have the Taiko drums to follow up, but it didn't matter. Had plenty of damage. Akillathehun going back to base. That's the 14th kill for Luminosity, who are firmly in control.
And now T1 tower going to be falling here. Day trying to get some return damage out onto Mask, but probably going to cost him his life for that one. Grave forcing out the Nemesis ult onto Mask as well, but nobody can catch the Najah.
BaRRaCCuDDa making DayToRemeber pay for his transgressions on that left-hand side of the map. He'll go back to base and sit on top of a 25-second timer. He's 0-5-1. Really having struggles this game, as are Vigilant just as a whole. Luminosity have looked excellent so far in this game, taking that early lead and not giving anything back. And this is what we expected from them. We said they needed 2 points to hang with the United, as MandoWarrior is under a lot of trouble, and it looks like LG are trying to get all 3 of those points.
Aquarius, he's hungry for this one, actually using the blink to go on ahead into that tower dive. MandoWarrior forced to pop his sprint, just trying to run away anywhere, really. He just needs to buy time for Pain to respond.
Pain does get here. He puts out the shield and keeps him alive. Aquarius forced out everything, though.
Aquarius just, he's got the speed buff, and I'm pretty confident that that's actually, no, it should be mass speed buff now that I look at it, but with the speed buff from Grave due to respond, would not be surprised to see Luminosity venture into Vigilance jungle yet again.
They're going to start up this portal demon, too, recognizing that there's really just not a way for Vigilant to fight into it. JeffHindla zoning out PainDeViande and Grave, while BaRRaCCuDDa and Mask put in damage onto this portal demon. There's no problem there. I think Mask actually commits the ult, doesn't quite hit anybody with it, so that won't be available for him as MandoWarrior looks to go in onto Aquarius.
And BaRRaCCuDDa actually catching PainDeViande with that backside, but the ultimate from Nemesis is going to be enough to stop him. BaRRa forced to jump over the Fire Giant pit, but the Fire Daddy has been awoken. PainDeViande right on top of it, getting a huge Cataclysm to knock some members up from Luminosity, but Baskin still going to take out his life for it.
Baskin cleans up PainDeViande. Feels like it was easily done for him. Now they're going to go right back to that portal demon. And again, this is that patience. We start the objective up, force you to come in to contest, and then pick you off when you do. Luminosity, see, they don't even need the Portal Demon, just happy enough to take the lead. Now they're sitting up about 9,000 gold in the lead. This is without really taking that many of the objectives off the map, just kills and out farming them. Mask gets the stun onto Akillathehun, who takes a bunch of damage right away. BaRRaCCuDDa ends up getting the credit for it. DayToRemeber on the backside tries to rotate in, but he gets deleted by the Hunter for Luminosity as well. MandoWarrior gets rooted by Aquarius. The ultimate comes out to Mezem, and MandoWarrior, the shield from PainDeViande, just not enough. He gets taken out, and they're going to keep going. The train just isn't going to stop from Luminosity. PainDeViande eventually will fall to BaRRaCCuDDa, and they head back for the Portal Demon.
Bear with the unofficial triple kill, and that blink going to be the only reason why Grave was able to survive. This Portal Demon is now completely free for Luminosity, but I think that the same could be said for basically everything on this map in this game.
BaRRaCCuDDa sitting at 9-0-6. Aquarius sitting at 4-0-6. JeffHindla with the perfect support slash line 0-0-15. They're really running away with this game. Portal Demon secured, no problem. Baskin trying to just solo Grave, actually getting his ultimate out of him, so that's something Grave won't have available. Just another small win Luminosity can add to the 20-1 wins they've got already.
Baskin wasn't even concerned when Grave ulted him. He's jumping in place, kind of just taunting him. That's got to be getting into your head. I don't care how experienced you are as a player. Nobody likes having to deal with that, but it's just the confidence that Luminosity is able to have because of the massive lead that they've made for themselves.
And Vigilant now kind of playing maybe even a little bit frustrated, going in situations where it might not have been the best call, but they have to do something to try and get something back. Ultimate comes out from Akillathehun onto Baskin, but really at this point, it's just kind of tickling him. It's Grave, the one that's in a lot of trouble. Big crit coming out over the top. Mask gets him cleaned up. Baskin gets credit for the kill on the Grave, and up in the air is Mask, and crashing back down with PainDeViande, who also goes back to base. Only 3 members alive for Vigilant.
And Akillathehun all by himself in this mid lane. MandoWarrior having back to base. Aquarius has just complete free proxy farm. And BaRRaCCuDDa, I mean, we've seen what's been happening all game in the duo lane. And BaRRaCCuDDa's scoreline speaks for itself.
And it looks like BaRRaCCuDDa going with that double lifesteal build again. So I think this is something that BaRRaCCuDDa just likes to build at this point. He did it in the first game when things are even. Now here, when he's tremendously ahead with a 12K gold lead he's sitting on. And it's going to help keep him even more survivable. Might be able to 1v3 now with all that lifesteal. He
has the benefit of building into the Aussie because it does provide a little bit of pen for our Aussie. But on top of that, it's just he's so far ahead that he's going to do damage no matter what.
Aquarius blinking into 2, does get the double knockup. Root comes out in the DayToRemeber. The shield from PainDeViande is good to try and keep him alive, but Aquarius is free to dive into the tier 2 tower. PainDeViande dies to BaRRaCCuDDa on the left-hand side, but DayToRemeber just cannot escape from the pressure of Aquarius. That's that beach body working out well for him.
And Aquarius, he's not done just yet. The Vent Anger actually doing work against Grave. Finally able to take him out in style, but Mask pressuring out MandoWarrior. Mando doesn't even want to go anywhere near. He's level 12, and again, the highest member now for Vigilant. 2 of them sitting at 13. Jeff is the lowest one for Luminosity, level 14.
Vigilant are very far behind, that's fair to say, yes. At this point, Vigilant are going to have to try and make some kind of defense, maybe on one of these structures, because they can't keep taking fights with Luminosity in the jungle or on these neutral objectives. They need a little bit of help. They need a 6th man in these fights right now because the 5 of them just aren't enough. Luminosity 25-1, 19 minutes here into this game. And they're kind of rolling with it right now.
I really would not be surprised to see a surrender vote come out from Vigilant. Normally, teams like to try and give themselves the benefit of the doubt to try and fight back into things, but Luminosity has just amassed way too much of a lead. It's practically impossible for Vigilant to fight back into this, and I'm all for hitting that F7, but sometimes you just gotta let a game go, and for Vigilant, this is just going to be such a difficult one to try and hold on to.
If it's game 1, throw it away. You know, you got a second try, give it a try, but it's game 2. They got to try and find any points they can, at least give themselves a chance here. But Luminosity, they're not the kind of team that's going to make a mistake, and it would take more than a mistake at this point. Luminosity would need to unplug their keyboards, perhaps, maybe throw their mice across the room and set things up as BaRRaCCuDDa starts the Fire Giant. MandoWarrior, though, is looping around the back end of the fight. Baskin already very low, but PainDeViande gets blown up before he can have any kind of impact on the fight. Aquarius gets Grave on the back end as well, and now Vigilant are losing on both ends of the team fight. It's 4 members versus MandoWarrior and just Aquarius against 3 on the bottom.
And that's the problem, is that you have Aquarius, who's able to zone out 3 carries all by himself. Luminosity, again, not looking to stop the onslaught anytime soon. BaRRaCCuDDa actually jumping forward. Vigilant forced into the retreat. It's only Akillathehun and Day left to contest, but neither of these carries going anywhere near, and there it is, a surrender vote from Vigilant.
Luminosity do pick up the win, but Baskin gives up the only kill for Luminosity. Kind of the weak link, I might be thinking, Taco. He's the only one getting killed.
Classic Baskin looking for the feeding. That doesn't surprise me too much either. It's just those classic mid laners, man, in North America. But no, all jokes aside, really congratulations to Luminosity. That was a very clean set by them.
Luminosity playing well, looking like the #1 seed in North America. I'm sure E United would have something to say about it, but for now, LG are the one at the top of the standings. We still have one more set for y'all, though, so just stick around with us. It's going to be a real quick pause, and we'll be right back.
So hard to fade away.